An internship is incredibly important because it's a chance for young people to get out beyond the walls of the classroom, beyond the school, and experience what the world is like out there. They have inherent curiosity, and getting a chance to connect with other adults around things they're interested in over a certain period of time can give them a real sense of satisfaction that they're doing real things in the real world, and also help them figure out what they do and don't want to do.
Definitely, I learned more about how responsible I need to be and what it's like to be an adult, and social skills, a lot of skills actually.
Definitely some confidence and work, just some experience.
I know how to make a resume. I have my resume. I know all the basic skills to getting a job, having a job interview, all that stuff. And so I'm just more confident in my future.
If you looked at the data around student engagement, from the time somebody's in kindergarten where it's high, it kind of goes like this to when you're in high school. So in order to increase engagement, you have to start with each and every student's interests and motivation. And the more schools do that, the better off they'll be.
The most surreal experience I've had is seeing one of our scholars at work. They are another person. They are mature, empowered, on top of it, giving orders. Last year we had a kid, Dayanara, and she came to school with a film crew. Bigger than this. And she was telling them where to go, what to do, where to put the cameras, what they were gonna say. And she's such a quiet introvert. I'd never seen her in that role. Experiences like that do so much to expand my belief in what they're capable of. They surprise me every day, but never like when I see them at an internship site.
Most often, learning that happens cements itself a lot more when they're in action, when they're in vivo, in the situation. And the community learns a lot. I find that professionals love that opportunity of just being involved and contributing, whether it be in the school's development of different programs, and also the students' learning.
I think it's really important because not only are you getting extra help, you're teaching somebody. So I think it's just a great opportunity to learn both ways.
What we hear from employers all the time is that whether folks are coming out of high school, coming out of college, some other post-secondary route, they're not entering into the workforce with sort of people call them soft skills. I think that's a misnomer. They're the ones that are hard to develop. And so how do we help make sure that young people have the sets of skills, competencies, and just kind of interpersonal ability to enter into a workplace with the right level of confidence and humility?
I was really this is the real world, basically. You know how people go in for an interview, give them their resume. I was like, wow, this is really what I have to be doing when I'm older. And I'm really happy that I get to experience it now, so I have an idea of what I can expect in the future.
Our students have the opportunity to share out after the internship and kind of do what we call a celebration of experience. Rather than just presenting out in the class, now they're actually presenting out in a real life situation, in an occupation that they may be interested in, or how they communicate with others and collaborate with a group of people on a real problem that they're facing. So they come back and share that with us, and it's an opportunity for us really then to see, okay, wait a minute, are we doing enough to prepare them for the skills they need to be successful in a real life situation?
And you think about access, and you think about young people and their infinite potential. This idea of connecting them with the community builds relationships and trust between families and scholars and teacher advisors and principals and the mayor and the fire chief and so many different people. And that allows them to really follow their passions and their interests, but actually build that network. So we all know I've had, 12 jobs in my life, 9 of them because I know somebody. I mean, just think about it. And so how powerful it is to be able to have, after multiple mentorship opportunities, somebody you can call and say, hey, I'm really interested in this, and do you know anyone? Can you place a call for me? Can you connect me?
Through like the internship program, it's definitely helped me like really figure out what it is that I want to do in the future, which like before I would have like no idea. And right now I'm like a lot like more comfortable with the idea of like seeing myself in the future.
The goal of school is not necessarily to get good at school. And I think that you can pass the written test on swimming, and once you get in the water, it's real different. So we gotta help young people learn to swim by swimming and heading out into that world. No matter what you try to do and create inside a classroom, it's ultimately some kind of simulation. I'm thinking about one young woman who was in a class of mine a while back, and I started asking her about, what was going on, and she seemed a little disengaged and a little tired and was having trouble answering. And I said, "What's going on?" She said, "Well, last night I was up until 3 a.m. because my brother was having an asthma attack." I said, "Well, what's going on with that?" And she said, "Well, we called the ambulance, and it took them almost 2.5 hours to get to our house." And she said, I don't think that's right. And out of that, over the next few years, she actually had a series of internships, in part related to researching asthma and trying to understand, well, what are some of the causes? Why are some folks seem to be more prone to it? Why does it tend to correlate along certain socioeconomic factors? And then that actually led her also to inequity and access to healthcare. Why does it take the ambulance so long to get to my house when in some other neighborhoods it takes an average of 7 minutes? That shaped her sort of whole direction and trajectory. If you had said, "Are you interested in asthma and equity of healthcare?" she might not have answered that or even known how to follow that. But getting to know a young person well enough that they'll share what's going on in their life, and then honoring that and acknowledging that and validating that and saying, if we follow this, there's some really deep transdisciplinary learning that can happen here, and you can find out that there are adults in the community that care about that as well.
So I think it just gives them this life skill that is, it's priceless. It really is. And you watch them from our perspective and how they grow and how, they just have so much more presence, after they've had an experience with somebody in the community. They just come back a changed person.
Even though this might not be my career choice, I can still be an activist for the environment. And I think what I learned has kind of helped me with that perspective that I'm taking as an activist when I lobby in front of Congress or go to town hall meetings or something like that, just to kind of take that little piece of me that I did something, like I contributed. Even it might be like one small thing, like I did something important.